So we need to eat to live, and the food companies know that, and they use that information to trick us into believing that we also need sugar to live. And I want to talk today about why that's absolutely false. Hello everyone, welcome to Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet. And the reason I make these videos is to help people understand that your physical health and mental health come together to create your overall sense of well-being. If you find this kind of video helpful, please consider subscribing. Everybody understands that we need food to live. So need food to live. And then when we talk about what food is, let's be clear on the definition of food. So food is nourishment for our body. And in order to nourish our body, nourishment is a substance necessary for growth, health, and energy. Necessary. Is sugar a food? According to that definition, it isn't, because sugar is not necessary for growth. Sugar is not necessary for energy, and it's not necessary for health. Actually, sugar harms our health. So if that's the case, why do we keep calling sugar food? Well, we call sugar food because the food company keeps telling us that sugar is food. Sugar is an energy source. Now, so let's back up. Is protein a food? Yes, because it's necessary for health. It's necessary for growth. It does give us energy. Is fat a food? Yes, because it's necessary for growth. It's necessary for health, and it does give us energy. Sugar does not give us any health nor any growth. Is sugar necessary in the body? Yes. But the difference is when we need to eat something, we need to eat it because we can't produce it. Sugar can be produced in the quantity that we actually need in our body. So therefore, sugar is a substance, not a food. And it's important for us to understand that difference. There is no reason to actually eat sugar. So until we stop calling sugar food, we will continue to be tricked by the food company that it's necessary. It is not. What that really means is that whenever we eat sugar, we are eating it because of the fun, of the pleasure that it gives us, not because we need it. The same way that a lot of people drink alcohol for the fun that it gives us, it's not necessary to have. The same way that some people take illicit drugs like cocaine or marijuana or other drugs because of the fun that it gives them, it's not necessary. Sugar falls into that category. I also want to point out, because we use sugar for entertainment, but we also use sugar to avoid our problems, and we also use sugar to soothe ourselves. Why? We grew up eating sugar, and unfortunately, we've grown up being taught that food, pleasure, can be used as a substitute for life's pleasures. So if we had an argument with someone, we can eat some ice cream. If we're feeling lonely, we can eat some chips. If we had a hard day at work, we could drink a soda or any number of other things that we can ingest to get that dopamine hit and that endorphin rush to help us to feel happier. But is it actually solving the problem? Not at all. We use sugar to avoid dealing with real life issues that we actually should be dealing with. We use sugar to help ourselves get that emotional hug because we're not getting it from the people in our lives or from the situations that we would like to get it from. We use sugar to avoid dealing with problems. And I want us to understand that because the food companies are taking advantage of that. The food companies keep marketing products that get us to start our day with sugar. right? The first thing we do in the morning is have a bowl of cereal, which is a bunch of sugar. And then we go through the rest of our day chasing sugar. So then we can have our chocolate bars, then we can have our ice cream, then we can have our cookies, then we can have, right? And when we go through our day chasing these things, French fries, potato chips, etc. Why? Because we're so used to eating every few hours because sugar pushes us to want to eat. That's what it does, because our bodies very quickly put those sugars away, and our brain wants that rush to be there, and it forces us to replace it. If we don't know that's happening, then we actually think we're hungry. But keep in mind, for every single person that's watching this video right now that has weight that you'd like to lose, well, if I have weight on me, that means I have energy on me. If I have energy on me, that means that if I don't eat anything, my body could use this energy, right? But yet I'm chasing food right now. How do we get out of this situation? How do we get out of the situation where we're constantly chasing carbohydrates? Part one, stop calling sugar food. It's an addictive substance that has been put in most of our foods that's keeping us addicted. Here's the thing. The same way that I would never pull alcohol away from an alcoholic without teaching them the tools that they need to have to deal with their life's problems, the chance that you're going to pull carbohydrates out of your life without also dealing with the things that cause you to chase carbs, not very likely. I'm sitting here in front of every one of you right now saying, please, if you are currently trying to lose weight and you recognize that you're struggling with letting go of carbohydrates, is because you are using carbohydrates, sugars, to deal with your life problems. Whether you're eating because you're sad, you're eating because you're bored, you're eating because something bad happened to you, you're eating because you're celebrating, you're eating because... When you find yourself chasing carbohydrates, it's because you're solving an emotional something with food that you really should be solving by looking directly at that emotional problem and working it out with the person, working it out at work, working it out by addressing the failure that you feel like you had or the problem that you feel like you're engaging, dealing with life. And if you are unable to do that on your own, please consider seeing a psychologist to help you to get through that. The answer is not eating more carbs. Because unfortunately, what eating more carbs does is not only did you not solve the problem, but now you're mad at yourself. You're mad at yourself because maybe you put on a bit more weight. You're mad at yourself because you stalled your weight loss. You're mad at yourself because you're not accomplishing your goals. You're not accomplishing your goals because at the end of the day, no matter how much we think that the food companies are trying to be transparent in the way that they label things, they still find new ways to misrepresent that there's sugar in the food. And so if they're misrepresenting that there's sugar in the food, you have to ask yourself why. And it's because they are aware that sugar is highly addictive. They are aware that if they keep you eating sugar, there's more chance that you will buy their products. They are aware. They fully know that you will buy more and more and more and more and more of these processed foods if they can just get you to eat it the first time. That's why processed foods are constantly going on special. That's why they send samples in the mail to us for us to try, because they want us to try them, because they want us to get that flavor. They want us to become addicted so that we will want it more and more and more. And we need to understand something. It's not because I try a new chocolate bar that I'm addicted to that chocolate bar, because I'm already addicted. I've been eating carbs this whole time. The new chocolate bar just gives me a new avenue to focus on. So I'm not suggesting that if I just don't try that new product, I won't be addicted. What I'm saying to you is we are all already addicted because of the high number of carbohydrates we've already been allowing in our lives because we were not aware of this information. I was not aware. I was not aware until I got my hip issue, that hip issue, which was preceded by a back issue, which was preceded by a neck issue, which was preceded by knee and elbow issues. I was not aware that all of these joint issues, all this soreness and pain that I'd lived with from my early 20s until my early 40s, I was not aware that that was happening because I was addicted to carbs. Had I known, I would have stopped eating carbs a long time ago. But I was not aware. The same way that I know You guys are not aware. I'm trying to help you to be aware because I want all my wellness warriors to be in the best possible healthy situation that you can be in. Because as a wellness warrior, I know that once you feel better, you will also go out there and spread the word and let other people understand that eating too many carbs is not healthy. It's causing the inflammation. It's causing the issues that you're living with. It's causing the metabolic syndrome that's leading people towards diabetes, that's leading people towards heart issues, that's leading people towards Alzheimer's. All of these conditions that could be avoided if we were aware that sugar is not a food. It's a substance that gives us energy. But there are other foods, there are real foods, fats and proteins, whole foods, steak, whole foods, avocados, whole foods that can give us real energy and building blocks to build the best possible body that we can. We need to be honest with ourselves. Nobody does drugs because they just love drugs. They do drugs because they were in a bad situation and wanted to get out of that situation so badly that they tried a drug to see if they could escape. And we continue to eat sugar for the same reason. It helps us to escape. And I want you to understand that it's a substance, not a food, so that you can start looking at it differently, take decisions, seek help if you need to. So see a psychologist if that's what you need to be able to make your life better, to solve the issue of having too much sugar in your life. Because if we solve the issues in our lives, so if we solve the problems at work, if we solve the issues with family, if we solve the issues of not feeling successful enough or not feeling like I'm a good person, or if I solve my issues, then I don't chase carbohydrates for that positive, because now I'll be able to get positive from how I see my life. Now I'll be able to get positive from the fun interactions I have with the people around me. Now I'll get positives because I'm proud of me. I want all my wellness warriors to take a deep, hard look at when you're eating sugar, so anything with carbs in it, and ask yourself, especially if it's a snack, if I was hungry, why didn't I just have a meal? If I'm having processed foods, why didn't I have a meal? If you are hungry, have a meal. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing. I now have a Patreon account, Patreon/Violet Rivera. I want to thank you for watching Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet. I love making these videos for you guys because I want everyone out there to do better, right? You can have a body that takes you well into the future in a healthy way, in an energetic way, feeling strong. Thanks for watching. I can't wait to talk to you next time.